Hey everybody, this is Deb with Truthification Chronicles, and I want to give a big shout out to Gina M because Gina M sent me this link. And this video is really good, and I want you all to go watch it because it has so much information in it that you need to know. This is about our famous AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And I don't know about the rest of you, but it's always puzzled me how she got to where she was. This explains it, okay? It was a casting call, and she made the casting call to get to Congress. Yes, she is now helping to run our country, and she has no experience whatsoever in any political things, but she made it through the casting call. Isn't that nice to know? I bet if she wasn't so pretty, they probably would not have put her through. You know, they never seem to get somebody who's homely looking to do these things, do they? Huh. Isn't that interesting? But anyway, I'm going to leave this down below. This is by Area 17 Ground Zero, and it's a great video. It's about almost 16 minutes long. And it tells the whole thing, and its source document is right here from this website. This is the Justice Democrats. That's the name of their group. And here she is being interviewed about how she did. I mean, she just plain out says it, okay? It's not that we're making anything up. It's plain and simple. She says this is what they did. They wanted to get some activists in there. And if you notice what it says here, it's time to usher in a new generation of diverse working class leaders into the Democratic Party. A Democratic Party that fights for its voters, not just corporate donors. And so they have all this, and you can actually nominate somebody. If you go down here, it has nomination quick reference guide. And that's here. Look at what it says, you know, who is supposed to submit nominations, and what if I can't answer all of the questions on the form? Oh, by the way, that's no problem because you're not expected to be able to do all that. I mean, really, how much do you talk down to people? Because, you know, we're all busy and we don't have time to research things. Really, it says that. It actually says that. I like this one. Can I nominate myself? Well, when they did the document, they left the hyperlink like that. But when they did the document, that's not what it ended up being. They changed it to what does it mean to co-sign a nomination. But anyway, let me show you here on what if I can't answer all of the questions on the form. Justice Democrats wants everyday Americans to be the ones who nominate their future representatives. We know that most of us are working long hours just to get by, and that they may not have time to do a lot of research or study the details of the political process. Heaven forbid you should actually look into something and research it before you nominate someone to run our country. You don't need to know the answer to every question, but we hope you'll try to get as much information as you can. We are ready to research thousands of nominees across America in order to find the next slate of Justice Democrats. And the more information you can give us, the better the chance that we'll be able to effectively study your nominee. So in other words, you just give us a name of somebody you like and we'll do all the research because we don't need to clutter up your little heads with anything like that, right? Oh, how insulting is that? I mean, I am somebody that is very intellect oriented, okay? I like my brain. And for somebody to tell me, oh, you don't need to do any research, we'll research it for you. It's okay. That would be so insulting to me. I would slap them. Just about. I don't know. I probably wouldn't slap them, but I would be very upset. I would not be happy with these people. Don't think for me. Let me think. I have a brain. God gave me a good brain, and I'm going to use it. Oh, so yeah, you don't need to know. You can just nominate whoever you want, just as long as you like them. Because that's what's important, that they're likable. We need them to be likable. Okay, what does it mean to co-sign a nomination? Because that's what used to be called, can I nominate myself? Anyway, they changed it so it didn't sound so self-centered, I guess. But they forgot to change it up at the top. Many nominators have already have a small group of supporters. So see, they think they're hot stuff already, so they nominate themselves. Adding co-signers to the nomination is a way to show this support. So in other words, yes, you can nominate yourself. Co-signers are preferable to each supporter submitting on a separate nomination. Each co-signer will receive a separate email after the nomination is submitted, confirming that they want to be part of the nomination process. And then what happens after it's submitted? Oh, you get an email confirming that your nomination was submitted, inviting you to continue through the nomination process. And we are so excited to have your contribution to our nomination process. Oh, yes, look at this. So many things. And what if I have questions? Oh, we're here. Feel free to reach out to our help desk. Just email us at justicedemocrats.com. You know they care about you because it says us at justicedemocrats.com. I would say it's US, but knowing them, it's not. Okay, it's us. And we have somebody on here other than me that's looking at this right now. Now, I did not actually find the nomination form, but I'm sure it's somewhere. And I think you maybe have to join to be able to get that, which I am not going to do. But yes, it's paid for by Justice Democrats, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. So who's in this? Justice Democrats? Well, let me bring up the Wikipedia. So here we are at Wikipedia. Yes, Justice Democrats, not to be confused with Justice Party. It's an American Progressive Political Action Committee founded on January 23rd by Kyle Kulinski of Secular Talk and Cenk of the Young Turks, and former leadership from the 2016 Bernie Sanders presidential campaign. I'm sure you all have in your mind now just where these people stand. Yep, you're right. Anyway, and it's these two are not, Cenk is no longer affiliated with the group. I don't know why, but for some reason they resigned. And this lady right here, I'm going to be looking more into her because she's mentioned here, and she is one of the main people in this organization. She's the executive director, and it just sounds to me like she's running the show. And so I'm going to find out. There was a connection that the Anons came up with, another Rojas, but I don't know if they're connected. I don't know if they're related or not, and I don't think they did. They were just putting it up in the notables just in case somebody found a connection between them. But anyway, and, it talks a little bit about them down here. You can read the whole thing. I'll put it down. But yes, they were, so panicked after Donald Trump won that they felt they had to create this organization. Okay? And it's a bunch of activists is what it is. So if you watch this video here, you're going to come across, there were 3 things that they mentioned, and I'm going to look down at my my notes here because I did comment on it, and it said organized, educated, and engaged. Here are my thoughts on the organized, educated, engaged. Organized is like gathering susceptible minds by promising them free stuff or anything else that sounds great but will end up being a lie. That's what they do. They organize. And then educated, that means they program them to think the proper way, to think right, as in the way the left thinks. So they think the correct way. And then the third thing is engaged. And the program then is complete, so their little NPC army is ready to send out to convert others. That's what they do. Now, I worked for 13 years with an online biblical counseling in Yahoo Chat. Many years ago, I know Yahoo Chat's been defunct for a while, but we worked and we were one of the biggest and longest running ministries in Yahoo Chat. And one of the things we did was we helped people get away from cultish type theology, things that were not biblical and had been skewed by some person usually to exalt themselves and to create a cult. And so we worked a lot with that and with apologetics and when I say that, remember that means not saying we're sorry. That means supporting our beliefs and, being able to tell the why you believe things. And so we were very apologetically based. And we worked with seeing cults all the time. I mean, we worked with people who were caught up in them. And we wanted to help them find out what the truth was according to what the Bible said. Now, this is something that I came up with. I mean, this just dawned on me when I was watching this. It's like, these people are a cult. This is how a cult works. Exactly. What they do is they make you feel like they love you so much and they need you and you're so important to them. That's how cults draw people in. They usually target people who are a little lonely, who are in need of being loved. And it's really kind of sad when you think about it, because those are the people that are especially vulnerable. And this is what happens when they're talking about this kind of thing. When they say they're organized. No, what they're really doing is they're finding people who are susceptible, that are going to be easy to program. And those are the people that they're drawing in. Usually it's people who are in need of something. They have some emotional needs, or they have some physical needs even. And if they think this group is going to provide that, it draws them in. And that's one of the things that they do to kind of lure people to get them over to their side. Once they get in, they quite often alienate their friends and their family, because those people aren't special enough, and they get them to rely on the group themselves for their identity. And that's how they pull them in. Once they get them pulled in and they get them to kind of alienate their relatives, anyone who does not want to be part of the cult, that's what they usually do. So they cut them off. Then the cult becomes the important part. And if you dare do anything that contradicts what the cult stands for, you are in trouble. And the biggest threat is they will cast you out. And if they put you out, see, they've already destroyed your relationship with everybody else, with all those friends and family who think differently from the cult. So then when you have that threat on you, because if you don't do what the cult tells you to do and what they say is right, then you're going to be put out and you're going to be all alone. And a lot of people can't stand that idea, the very concept of that. They can't tolerate that. The idea that they would have to stand by themselves against, they would lose their new family, essentially. They can't do that. And because of that, that's why a lot of people end up staying in cults, just because they can't afford the emotional separation. They're afraid of being out on their own. And sometimes there's some other threats that go along with it with some cults. But usually, it's one of those things that if you don't go along with what they say, they're going to ostracize you. And a lot of people just cannot take that social ostracization, if that's a word. Okay. Anyway, being ostracized like that. So that is what struck me when I was watching this. And of course, one of the things they do is after they program you to think the proper way, then they send you out to evangelize. I mean, that's what you become. They become little evangelists to try to bring more people into the fold. And that really is how cults work. It's kind of a trap that they lay. And this is what I see this Democrat organization here and many Democrat organizations doing, because you've seen what happens when somebody turns against the party. It's not allowed. It's fought against. I mean, they look what they have done to some of these people who have stepped up. Kanye, look what they did to him. I mean, you cannot leave the cult. If you try to leave the cult, they destroy you. They destroy your reputation. They put you out and try to isolate you from everyone else. And so this is typical, very typical cult-like behavior. This is what they do. And when I was reading through, when I watched the video and they pointed out these three things, organized, educated, and engaged, that's what they do. That is a typical cult thing. And so I would classify them that way. Now, I'm sure that probably not everybody will see it that way, and some people are very interested in it, but I don't know that I'm too far off. And for my beliefs, I really see it that way. I see this as a type of cult where they're drawing people in and they try to make them, like I said, on that email address. I don't think it meant United States. I think it meant us. Because you need to be part of us. You remember Hillary's motto, I'm with her. We're together. Together we're good, We need to be together. You need to be with us. And then if you say anything against them, you're kicked out. And if you're kicked out, by that time you have put all of your emotional stake in the people in the cult. And this is how they keep them in there. It's pretty simple. And I think this is probably what's going on with this particular organization. So once again, I want to thank Gina M for giving me this link because, wow, everybody needs to see this. Pass this around. Whew. It's really eye-opening. And they say it themselves. I mean, he's taking clips from them. They're saying it. So keep in mind what I said about cults, because I think that when you see it from that perspective, you'll understand what I'm saying as you watch this video, because that pretty much is how it came across to me. And I've had a lot of experiences with lots of different cults. So that's how I saw it. Anyway, I want to thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to click the little button down below, the subscribe button, because the birthday's coming up fast and I'm going to be a year older and I deserve something, right? No, I'm kidding. It would just be wonderful if I could hit 60,000. It's going to be a stretch. It really is, because I'm kind of falling behind this week. It's been a tough week because I've had several demonetized, and I just found out tonight another one was demonetized after it had been going for a little while. So I don't know. I'm kind of feeling a little bit like I got a target on me right now. And once again, that's why I'm doing a lot of short ones instead of big long ones, so I can try to isolate some of them and more of them will get a chance to get out there, because they don't tend to make as much of a splash in the pond, if you want to say that way, when they are demonetized. So, and the abortion one, I just couldn't do that. By the way, let me correct myself on the abortion one. I said that we didn't vote on Roe versus Wade. What I meant was that the Christian people and the American people in general, when Roe v. Wade was first implemented, was first ruled on by the Supreme Court, which of course we have no ability to, question that, because it came up there. There's no voting on such things. But I said that, we didn't vote on it. Well, that means after it was established. Because those first few years, like the first 5 years or so, it was very young, and there were so many legislative things that we could have had congressmen and women put into action, and I think it would have staved off a lot of what's happened since then. But they didn't, and the Christian people and Americans in general did not take more of a stand against it, and I think we should have. I think there should have been more of a stance that said, this is not a line we want to cross. We don't want to do this. But unfortunately, that's not the way it came across. And so we are where we are now, and we just need to do something about it now. So anyway, I wanted to comment about that, and you can watch that video if you want to, if you haven't seen it yet. So this is what I've got for you tonight. I want to thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you all later.